So I've been using a wire wheel. I just buy these cheapies at Harbor Freight. But I use these to strip paint and to remove the seam sealer out of these seams so I can get in here and check it out. It was really gooped in thick in this rig here. I don't know why they have to put it on so thick. This year it looks like they've got some big spot welds. Maybe that's all they were trying to hide. Instead of grinding that down just a little, they just putting that much more seam sealer on it. I don't know. These wire wheels just peel it right out of there really good. And then I had spots. So underneath that seam sealer and paint, it was bubbling just a little bit. I could see that there was some rust. So now I can sand that out, grind it out, do whatever I need to do and treat it. But I had to get that seam sealer out, so I used that wire wheel. Even down here where I'm going to have to do some rust repair, it strips the paint off really well. The sanders and things like that work really good, but you go through a lot of discs or sanding paper when you're doing that, and that adds up pretty fast. These are $4, and they last quite a while. I go through quite a few, but they last quite a while, and the shorter they get, the better they work, I think. So I usually wind up running them down to nothing, which is good. But these strip paint really well. They peel out that seam sealer really well. But there's another thing they do really well. They throw wire burrs everywhere. I recommend wearing safety glasses when you're using that kind of stuff anyways. But those wires that come out of that will stick. I've had a couple of them stuck in my arm already today. I wear a face shield because I don't want to look like a porcupine, wire burrs sticking out of my face or your eyes. So wear a little bit better protection with stuff like that. There are a few places here that have rust repair that I need to take care of. That this side, oops, big clump of dirt. This side isn't, the outside isn't as bad as the other side was. So I still have to patch that. I've got a panel here to do the same thing with, trimming this out and changing the shape at the bottom here. Not a big deal. I'm going to use that to finish this off, and this is a lot less of a hole or smaller repair than the other side was. Now the rocker panel, it's in better shape too. This is the majority of the repair that's going to need right there. But the inside is where I'm going to have to really give some attention. And then right here where the striker goes, the other side I cut that whole piece out. This side, it's in better shape. The other side had a crack top and bottom right smack in the middle. This one here is just a little bit a stress crack on the outside. I'm just going to try to hammer that back into shape and weld that back up and clean it up. Just a stress crack. That would be about where a weld would be if I was going to patch it anyway, so it should be just fine. That's my thinking. So we'll get the floor, I'll finish stripping out the paint and seam sealer out of the seams, and then I can come in with a flat disc or a sander, and I'll just put a fine disc paper on, or a fine grit disc on my grinder, a flat disc, so I'm not ripping the metal out too fast. You got to be careful with those. Those will really strip the metal. They'll strip the paint down fast, but they'll strip the metal out too. Make it too thin or cause problems, get it too hot. This doesn't make things too hot either. So anyhow, that's where I'm at here. This side, I probably won't show all the repairs because they're going to be very similar to what I did the other side out here. But when I get to the inside, I will show what I'm doing there and how I'm doing it. You know, some of these repairs, it really depends on how good a finish you want. A little bit of rust pitting in the floor isn't a big deal at all, especially if you treat it and it's still going to have integrity. But if you're trying to make a rust-free restoration, then a lot of these panels you would take completely out and replace them with good new metal. But what I'm doing, I want a good solid rig, a good solid looking rig as well. So anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and finish this up, what I'm doing out here, and catch up with you guys later. Appreciate you watching. Bye.